Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1798B, and today's date is February 22nd, 2019, and the title of the episode is Stealth Moves, Enough Evidence, Ready to Prosecute? Enjoy the show. Now, before I get started, I wanted to talk about the deep state. We know they continually push their goals, and we know that they try every trick in the book to scare the American people. And one of the best things you can invest in for your home and for your protection is a Patriot flashlight. Now, this flashlight is solar powered, so you're never going to waste money on batteries again. It has emergency strobe light, it has a USB port, it has a compass, rope, wire cutter, and a siren to ward off individuals. Patriot flashlight is the perfect gift for you and your family. Go to patriotflashlight.com. Use the promo code X20 and get 20% off the Patriot flashlight. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, we can see the deep state, they are projecting that the Mueller report is going to be a nothing burger. They are nervous, they're afraid, they're panicking. Their firewall is now coming down. And it's starting to look like we have more than enough evidence to prosecute. We'll be getting into that in just a moment. First, I wanted to head out to Venezuela and talk about what has been going on there. We know that Guaido, he's pushing for the humanitarian aid to come into the country. Muduro right now is closing the borders with Brazil and many other countries, making sure that nothing can come in from the neocons, the deep state. And we know that this is not just humanitarian aid. There's weapons, there's bullets, and things like that. I do believe that Trump and the Patriots, they are monitoring the entire situation, gathering evidence, understanding who is on what side, and they're getting a clearer picture of what is going on. And there's different agendas associated with all this. For one, if there was a snap election today, Muduro would win, and people are scratching their heads saying, are you crazy? The reason for that is because Q has already let us know that Venezuela has a voter ID system. And we also reported that their voter ID system is a fingerprint system. They don't have ballot box where they can be stuffed and things like that. They actually have a system where they identify each and every single person. And Q did give us the list. So if there was another election, Muduro would win just like he's done in the past. Now, I believe Trump and the Patriots, they already knew this. They knew that if there was an election, this would all be said and done. And they went ahead and said, listen, we are now looking at Guaido. He is going to be the president, and we want all the other nations to join in on this. Not every single nation has. Many of them said absolutely not. I mean, Mexico, Russia, China, and many others. We know the deep state, they've been pushing to get into Venezuela very, very hard for a very, very long time. Just like Syria, just like Lebanon, just like Libya, just like Iraq, just like Ukraine. They're doing the same exact thing. Now, I do believe that Trump, the Patriots, they're tracking all the neocons, just like they've been tracking Page, Strzok, watching them do the drops and things like that. They're watching them and how they move the weapons around, where their suppliers are, because what better way to gather evidence than to watch in real time what they're doing and gathering all that evidence. So I do believe they are tracking the movements of these people, and it makes it a lot easier to identify on what side you are on. I believe we have bad actors in Venezuela, and I believe this is the mission to flush them out. Now, the other side effect of this is that Trump, by just recognizing Guaido, he has now gotten the Latin vote for the 2020 election. I mean, he gave a speech in Miami, and he said, socialism is not going to happen here in the United States. And the Latin community is rallying behind him. This was a power play. And there is really not a humanitarian problem in Venezuela. And people are saying, well, what do you mean? Well, Russia and also China, they've been supplying humanitarian aid to Venezuela. Medicine, food. Actually, Muduro thanked Putin for supplying humanitarian aid. So right now, that whole story doesn't make sense. And we can see there's another plan going on. Just like North Korea. I mean, everyone thought we were going to war. Just like Syria. Everyone thought he's bombing the Syrian forces and he's allowing the Islamic State to move free in Syria. But actually the opposite was happening. Now it looks like on the border where they're trying to bring the humanitarian aid in, it looks like there was gunfire. And what they're saying, and this is coming out of the Washington Post, that Venezuelan soldiers just opened fired on the civilians near the Brazilian border. Well, let's think about this and let's think logically here, because we've heard this story before. Remember Ukraine in the Maidan when everything was happening and people said that Yanukovych ordered the police and other individuals to fire on the public, and then we come to find out later on that it was snipers and it had nothing to do with Yanukovych. This was part of the deep state back then, the intelligence operation. I do believe this is the same exact thing happening, because if we think logically, why would Maduro fire on his own people? He needs his people to be elected. It's almost like saying Assad gassed his own people. He tortured his own people. And then the people went ahead and re-elected Assad. The story never made any sense. This is the same exact story. Something doesn't fit. And also it's coming out of the Washington Post, so you have that. But they're using this to push their agenda. And I do believe that Trump and the Patriots, they're monitoring the entire situation, gathering intelligence, because why would they start a war in Venezuela when they ended wars in North Korea, Syria? They're in the process in Afghanistan talking about peace. We're going to see Yemen. That war is going to be coming to an end. I mean, one thing at a time. The deep state, they've started many, many wars. They wouldn't start another war while they're ending wars that the deep state started. It's not in Trump's nature to start wars. He doesn't work like that. He'd rather see peace. So I do believe the Patriots, they are trying to take control of the situation. I do believe behind the scenes, there are talks going on that we will find out about later. We see out in Syria, Trump is going to be leaving a small peacekeeping group of about 200 troops in Syria after the April 30th deadline to withdraw all forces. Now, Lindsey Graham, he is the one that pushed for this. Now, we have to think back and go back in time, because Lindsey Graham and McCain, they were both involved with the terrorists in Syria, the paid mercenaries. Lindsey Graham knows all about this, because we know from the past, Lindsey Graham, McCain, there are many, many pictures with them with the terrorist groups. So the whole cover story behind this is that Trump is talking to Erdogan about the safe zone, but we know that Russia, or Putin actually told Erdogan there's going to be no safe zone there. You have to go through Damascus if you want to set something up. So the safe zone is not agreed by Syria or Russia, and I believe this is a cover story because I think there's another operation inside Syria to get rid of the other deep state operators within the country before they can leave completely. And we'll actually later on see this group leave once their mission is complete. This is not about, helping the Islamic State or helping anything else. I believe this is a cleanup operation that they need to remove certain individuals, certain deep state operators within the country. Let's get into Q's post. This is post 2848. And Q gave us a link to the Miami Herald. And the title of this article is Federal Prosecutors Broke Law in Jeffrey Epstein Case, Judge Rules. So the federal prosecutor under former Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta broke the law when they concealed a plea agreement from more than 30 underage victims who had been sexually abused by wealthy New Yorker hedge fund manager Jeffrey Epstein. Now, instead of prosecuting Epstein, the U.S. Attorney's Office negotiated a non-prosecution agreement, or NPA, which gave Epstein, his accomplices, and his Palm Beach and private island guests immunity from federal prosecution if he met the terms of the deal. The NPA was also sealed, which had the effect of keeping Epstein's victims uninformed about the plea negotiations occurring between federal prosecutors and Epstein's team of super lawyers until after his lenient sentencing in 2008. That was a violation of law. The court is simply ruling that under the facts of this case, there was a violation of the victim's right under the Crimes Victims' Right Act to know about this. So, 2 of Epstein's underage victims, known as Jane Doe 1, Jane Doe 2, filed a lawsuit in the Southern District of Florida after the 2008 surprise sentencing on the grounds that they were never given an opportunity to express their opposition to the plea. Thursday's judgment affirmed their claim. Of course, this is 11 years later. The ruling noted that the FBI had given Jane Doe 1 a standard Crime Victims' Right Act, or CVRA, notification letter in September 2007. The letter promised a reasonable right to confer with the attorney for the United States in the case and to be reasonably heard at any public proceeding in the district court involving plea. But from the time the FBI began investigating Epstein until the plea deal was finalized, the U.S. Attorney's Office never contacted the victims about the plea or even told them a plea was under consideration. So you can see how they worked around this to get him off. And Q says equal justice under the law or rigged system. Rigged system. Being a Clinton donor really pays off. So Q is letting us know that those days are over. Nobody is above the law. And he's pointing out that this was done on purpose and they were able to get Epstein a lighter sentence. Now, the White House is looking into the Acosta role in the Epstein case right now. So we'll have to see how that all turns out. Post 2849. Q says hate hoax by Smollett. This is in brackets, all caps. And this is also in brackets and bold. False flag designed to pass anti-lynching law gets wall-to-wall fake news coverage. Real hate, and this is in brackets and bold, real violence and fascism carried out by members of Antifa get zero coverage. Reconcile. 1 = 1. ? When will the FBI conclude their investigation into Antifa? If Q is asking this question, it's going to be very, very soon. What happens if the phone records of Smollett leaked? Who did he talk to multiple times prior to turning himself in? Now, there were calls coming in trying to stop the indictment. And this is when the 2 Nigerian brothers were ready to testify. So it looks like someone with clout called to try to get rid of all of this. And Q says political forces at work? Absolutely. Enemy of the people. Now let's take a look at Cory Booker's tweet right after the attack. The vicious attack on actor Jussie Smollett was an attempted modern-day lynching. I'm glad he's safe. To those in Congress who don't feel the urgency to pass our anti-lynching bill designated lynching as a federal hate crime, I urge you to pay attention. So they had this planned. The bill was just waiting, and they needed an event. Now, very interestingly, while all this was happening, Jussie Smollett had recently hosted an episode on lynching for the documentary series America Divided. Jussie Smollett appeared in a documentary that specifically touched upon the topic of lynching last May. You think this was all planned around everything? They thought it was going to go a completely different way. And they thought, oh, wow, we're going to pass the lynching bill. Jussie Smollett's going to become a hero. We're going to have this documentary. We're going to plaster that all over the place, showing that America's divided, showing the lynching and everything else. But the whole thing didn't go in their favor. So the question is, why did the deep state choose him? Why? Because he has a big following, he has a big base, and they can use this to their advantage. So what did they want to accomplish? Well, we know they wanted to pass the anti-lynching bill because the punishment for treason is death by lynching. So they definitely wanted that. They also wanted America divided. And I believe they want the American people angry. Angry at Trump, angry at his supporters. And they were hoping they were going to push people to the edge. What edge? Well, think about what they've done in the past in many different cities where they tried to start race wars. The deep state likes to keep the people divided. They like us fighting amongst each other. This could have started a race war. Think about Jussie Smollett's base, how big it is. And if a call went out, they could have had Antifa or other groups or paid individuals to start this up. I mean, Jussie would have been responsible for getting people hurt and killed, and this would have been horrific. And the deep state plan, well, it didn't pan out for them. It backfired. So I wonder if the police were tipped off and given info to look in a certain direction to stop all of this. Maybe countermeasures were involved in this whole thing. Now here's a tweet by Tiffany Fitzhenry that breaks it down. Breaking. The president of Time's Up resigns. So just to recap, Me Too becomes Time's Up. Jussie and Kamala go to Time's Up rally. Jussie stages lynching hoax. Kamala passes anti-lynching bill with Cory Booker. Jussie goes to jail. Time's Up president resigns. Amazing. And for all the talks of Trump being a racist, here's a tweet by Trump. We are here to honor the extraordinary contributions of African Americans to every aspect of American life, history, and culture. From the earliest days of this nation, African American leaders, pioneers, and visionaries have uplifted and inspired our country. And you can see he's meeting with all these individuals. Where did the term racist, why is he a racist? It makes no sense whatsoever. Let's move on to Q's next post, post 2850. Gives us everything from post 2849. Gives us a link to Fox News. And this is Jussie Smollett's alleged hate crime hoax sheds light on similar phony accusations. Now, we went over many other hoaxes a couple reports back, but here are the highlights here. Ex-Drake student Kissy Ram guilty of lying about racist note. Former Drake University student Kissy Ram, 19, pleaded guilty in January 2019 for lying about a racist note she originally claimed had been shoved under her dorm room door in Des Moines, Iowa. Here's another one. A New York woman, Adawa Lewis, falsely claimed teens yelled Trump 2016, found hateful note. And the next day she told police the tire of her car had been slashed and a note left behind read, "Go home." A police investigation discovered that Lewis' alleged confrontation with teenagers never occurred and that she had written the note herself and put it on her car. So what Q is saying is these things are fake and phony. Q says, noticed a trend by liberals plus Ds. Fake, fake, fake. They will stop at nothing to regain power. Hashtag wake up, America. Q. Post 2851. Q puts up a picture, and it says, according to the mainstream media, on the left, it has fringe, and it looks like a family of children and the husband and the wife all wearing Q shirts, and they look like your everyday family. And then on the other side, they have normal people, and it's people dressed up in costumes with different color hair, saying resist, and Q says memes, memes, and more memes. Why are memes so important? Memes bypass the social media censorship algorithm because the social media platforms, their systems, they cannot read the graphics yet. Q has been telling us about this a while back in many posts. Post 2852 gave us a Twitter link to Clever Burger 8, and it shows a picture of what the media wants you to believe is happening, and it shows a Democrat black individual sitting at a food counter with a bunch of white people with MAGA hats surrounding this individual. But what's really happening is the black individual with the MAGA hat is a Republican sitting there, and all the Democrats are surrounding him. So the opposite is happening. Hashtag truth, hashtag facts matter. Post 2853. Q gives a shout out to Never Give Up Wall and gives us a Twitter link, and it says hashtag stop crimes against children, hashtag QAnon, hashtag dark delight, hashtag where we go one, we go all, hashtag pain is coming, hashtag declass now, hashtag MAGA, hashtag deep state. And the picture, the meme, is patriots have no skin color. And it shows everyone holding hands, black, white, Asian, you name it. And it says Q. Hashtag we stand together, hashtag united not divided, hashtag where we go one, we go all. Post 2854. Q gives us a link to Forbes. The title of this article is The Top 4 Reasons California is Unsustainable. The fourth reason, California's infrastructure deficit. That vast state water project was designed for a population not much greater than 25 million. Today, on any one day, California verges on a nearly 40 million people within its borders and is projected to reach 50 million, if not higher. In the last 50 years, however, California's infrastructure needs have been ignored. Number 3, government debt. How much in debt are the California governments? Well, that's hard to know. According to a January 2017 study, California state and local governments owe $1.3 trillion as of June 30th, 2015. The study was based on a review of federal and state and local financial disclosures. In other words, that $1.3 trillion in debt is the amount to which California governments admit. Other studies believe it to be more. Indeed, one study says it's actually $2.3 trillion, and a recent Hoover Institute stated that there's over $1 trillion in pension liability alone, or $76,884 per household. Number 2, California's taxes and regulations. When you consider the California legal system and its regulatory system, inclusive of the world's most comprehensive global warming law, California is likely the most regulated state in the country, if not the world. California also is among the highest taxed states in the nation. California has the highest income tax rates. The top rate is 13.3%. The next closest top tax rate is Oregon of 9.9%. However, Oregon does not have a sales tax. California has the 10th highest sales tax. What is remarkable about California income tax isn't just that it has the highest rate. It is how little income it takes, just above $52,000, to qualify for a California rate of 9.3. Given the high cost of living in California, that means many Californians are subject to that rate. On the other hand, for more than a decade, less than 150,000 of California's 35-plus million people pay half of all of its income tax, a highly imbalanced system. Number 1, the California governments. You would think all of the above would have government officials deeply worried, so much so they would cut back everywhere they could. If you thought that, you'd be wrong, very wrong. California spends nearly $200 billion a year on a budget, and even more off budget in the form of programs paid with bonds, i.e. debt financing. As for the pension debt, of that nearly $200 billion, in the most recent budget, less than $2 billion was allocated to paying down the pension debt. More than that was spent this year on high-speed rail project currently estimated to cost $70 billion, and which no one seems to want. Q says they know what's best for our country. Pelosi, Arrow, California rep since 1987. Waters, pointing to California rep since 1991. Schiff, California rep since 2001. Feinstein, California rep since 1992. Harris, Lou. Under this it says lead by example. California estimated $2 trillion in debt. Homelessness, population on the rise, highest tax rates in the country, undocumented immigrants in California versus nation, uncontrollable state government spending. If you can't fix your own home state, what makes you think you can fix the country? If you're living in one of the 49 other states, you should learn from the lesson that is California. If you're living in California, there is always the lesson of how Michigan came to be governed by a more centrist government. Of course, that came after the failure of the prior government. For now, however, for all its concern for substantial food and products, California is on high-speed rail to unsustainability. Hashtag facts matter. Now, we know that Trump has been out there criticizing California, the high-speed rail, and he's asking for the money back because they did not complete the high-speed rail in time. So he's looking to get the money back. Will California give it back? Well, right now they're saying absolutely not. We're not going to do it. But Trump might be able to use the nuclear option where he says, listen, these were the terms of the deal. You didn't complete the deal. You owe us the money back. I don't think this has ever happened before. I think the government gives out money. I don't know if the government ever takes back the money. We'll have to see what happens. Post 2855. Q gave us a Reuters article, and it says North Carolina orders new U.S. House election after tainted vote. And it reads, North Carolina's election board on Thursday ordered a new election for a U.S. House seat after officials said corruption surrounding absentee ballots tainted the results of the 2018 vote that has embarrassed the Republican Party. Q says, welcome to the Democratic Party. They will stop at nothing to regain power. Time to adopt voter ID law. Now, the Democrats, they're using this to say the Republicans cheated, and we need to have a recount of this vote. We need to redo it. Really what they're doing is they're destroying themselves in the process. In their pursuit to gain power, they're pushing exactly what they don't want. They're proving to everyone there's a problem, and we need to fix the problem some way, somehow. Yes, they're trying to gain power. This is not going to really help them, but they're really destroying themselves in the process. Because all we have to say is, listen, you told us was a problem in North Carolina. There's a problem over here, maybe we should have voter ID. And remember, going back to post 2755, Q gave us a list of all the countries that have voter ID. United States is not included. Netherlands, Germany, Austria, United Kingdom, Spain, France, Venezuela, Romania, Greece. You name it. They all have it, except the United States. Very interesting. Post 2856. This is in brackets bold. Soft push of new narrative example. Give us 3 Twitter links. This one is from Kim Strassel. Conspiracy theorist Adam Schiff is looking for something new, anticipating a Mueller letdown, writes at Kim Strassel. So there was a Wall Street opinion article. The article says he is shifting to phase 2 of collusion. The other Twitter link is New York Times opinion. A concise Mueller report would mark the end of the beginning, not the beginning of the end. The other Twitter link is from Rob Reiner. From what I understand about the complexities, opaqueness, and length of counterintelligence investigations, I'd be surprised if Mueller was able to uncover the breadth of this conspiracy. More digging will have to be done, but there will be crimes, and we better get to see them. So, the Democrats, the deep state, put this special counsel in there to investigate. He had 2 years to investigate. This was their boy. And they're saying that he didn't do a great job. Well, they picked him. They knew what he was going to do. You mean the whole thing was fake? Q says, what happened to the Mueller hype? It just faded away. Remember all the indictments that Mueller was going to come out with? I mean, here's some of the headlines. Mueller's new indictment points to collusion with Russia. Never happened. Mueller is putting together a report in the obstruction case that could be as damaging to Trump as an indictment. So, in the past, when Mueller was investigating, they're saying he has all this information, he has all the indictments, it's going to take him down. And now they're backtracking on all of it. And Q says, what happened to the Mueller will take down POTUS threats at John Brennan? Well, John Brennan said that Donald Trump sees the walls closing in and feels increasingly desperate amid Mueller probe. Well, that's not happening either, John Brennan. Boy, were you wrong. You thought you were in control. You were not. Q continues, was Mueller the insurance policy, also known blockade, designed to restrict POTUS ability to enforce the law? Absolutely. Traitors, this is caps, bold, and in kill brackets. New talking points being pushed, backing away from Mueller as the savior, re excuse A, excuse B, excuse C. Why are new investigations by Adam Schiff, this is in brackets, bold, being started if, as he stated for almost 2 years, evidence exists that ties POTUS to Russia? They need an insurance policy, a firewall, and they need to keep it in the mainstream media. They are protecting themselves right now. If they had evidence, do you think it would have leaked? Absolutely. They would have leaked that out right away. If they really found Russian collusion, it would have been all over the mainstream media. If they had evidence, would they be backing away, playing down the Mueller report about to be released? No. Q says, first they pushed for a special counsel. Now they claim the special counsel didn't look deep enough. If the special counsel report is classified, how do they know where, who, when, why, and how deep each case? They already have the information. They knew Mueller found nothing. It was fake. And that information was already leaked to them. If the special counsel report is classified, how do they know the conclusion of the report already? The info was leaked to them already, so they could prepare. They already knew that there was nothing there. Are new investigations designed to be an insurance extension? Yes. Designed to prevent POTUS from cleaning house? Yes. Attack on political opponents who are actively conducting leading investigations into the president for XYZ, charges beyond Mueller for XYZ reasons, zero evidence to support, obstruction, trap? Yeah, that's what it's there for. Brackets, bold, caps, SDNY, opening private investigation for the sole purpose of finding a crime. So there is no crime, there is no evidence, so they're opening an investigation to try to find a crime. Evidence to support? None. Evidence presented? None. Does SDNY report to AG Barr? Watch the news. Maxine Waters, and this is in brackets, all bold caps, MW. Maxine Waters opening new investigation into the finances of POTUS and or his family. Yes, they're trying to find something. This has nothing to do with... This has gone way beyond Russian collusion. This has gone to the point where they are in such a panic because they know what he's about to do, what Trump, the patriots, are about to do. And they're all guilty. Why did the D's state things will calm down if we retake the House prior to the midterm elections? Because they thought if they retook the House, they would be in control. They would handle the investigations that were going on. They could start new investigations. But they didn't realize that that wasn't the key. Yes, they can push bills, but the Senate could block them. I don't think they realized that. Was their plan to retake the House in order to chair each respective committee in order to start new erroneous investigation in an attempt to retain the blockade? Yes. Retain the insurance policy? Yes. Retain the optical illusion that a crime was committed? Absolutely. Retain the narrative? Yes. Retain D-base outrage? Yes. Retain D-base obstruction? Yes. Retain D-base support to block POTUS agenda? Yes. If you know your opponent's move, what advantages that does present? If you have the truth on your side, what advantages does that present? If you have full control of the U.S. military, what advantages does that present? If you have complete authority to declass, what advantages does that present? If you have the support of the American people, patriots, what advantages does that present? We, the people, have the control then. We are controlling what happens now, not the deep state. Q says, do not trust the fake news media. You are the majority. Mueller then pointing to D-class, pointing to OIG, pointing to truth, pointing to justice. Q just gave us the timeline. The Mueller report will come out. They then will D-class. The OIG report will come out. The truth will be spread across the country, across the world. Then justice. The Great Awakening. You are the news now. Q. Post 2857. Q says, we thank you for your service, BO, that's board owner. We thank you for your service, vols, that's volunteers. We thank you for your service, bakers. We thank you for your service, annons. God bless each and every one of you, patriots, one and all. Pepe is proud and has never been more popular. And that is the frog that is on the 8 chan, not A chan, it's 8, the number 8 chan on the boards there. Post 2858, Q says, RE conservative attacked on UC Berkeley campus. And what happened there was an individual, an activist, that was assaulted on the campus during a recruitment drive. And this individual came up and started screaming at this individual and then punched him in the face for no reason. And Q says the attacker equals member of local Antifa chapter, joined April 2018. Facial scans do not hit directly. 2 jumps downstream required. So Q and team are using facial recognition technology, and they have identified the person who assaulted Hayden Williams on the UC Berkeley campus. Q is saying that this individual is a member of the local Antifa chapter who joined in April of 2018, and it looks like they're going to press charges and give the identity over to this individual so they can go after him. Post 2859, Q gives us a Twitter link, and it says QAnon in Delhi, India. And it says, me wearing the Q shirt in a literature festival later questioned a panel of security experts around hashtag deep state, got an unexpected response. And this shows these individuals wearing, one individual wearing the Q shirt, and this is coming from Clark Prasad, and Q says, our reach is a direct threat to their control. Would the largest news companies in the world attack us daily if we weren't a threat to their narrative control? You attack those who threaten you the most. So this is truly a worldwide movement, and we are seeing that people from all different countries are wearing the Q shirt. This is not just a little tiny fringe movement, it's much, much larger. Post 2860, Q puts up a tweet by Donald Trump. This was back in April 15th of 2018. It says, Comey throws A.G. Lynch under the bus. Why can't we all find out what happened on the tarmac in the back of the plane with Wild Bill and Lynch? Was she promised a Supreme Court seat or a Attorney General in order to lay off Hillary? No golf and grandkids talk. Give us all a break. And within this, we see there's 2 posts, and this is from February 6, 2018. It says, public interests keep high. This is in brackets and bold. Uranium 1 FBI informant. A1 DWS Packy Intel MB tarmac meeting. The other one is from April 15, 2018. Side-by-side graphics are important. To be clear, Loretta Lynch was promised a Supreme Court position of RBG, coordinated plan RBG big problems. Down below, it says the deal of a lifetime. Kill brackets, bold, tarmac, meeting not planned according to Loretta Lynch and Bill Clinton. Security reports indicate United States Secret Service, security detail, Bill Clinton FBI, security detail, Loretta Lynch, planned for meeting. So Q is telling us that they have the security reports from the Secret Service, and in their notes, in the logs they keep, it was planned. So this was a planned meeting for a specific reason. Let me continue. Supreme Court / Loretta Lynch deal presented by Bill Clinton. What actions did James Comey take days after? Less than a week after the tarmac meeting, James Comey announced that the FBI would not recommend an indictment against Hillary Clinton. Q says, returning to the news, Q. Post 2861 gives us everything from Post 2860 and says, just another coincidence, we dropped Loretta Lynch, was offered a Supreme Court seat on February 6th and backed up by POTUS on April 15th. Enjoy the show. So it shows that Q and Trump, they are on sync and they're working together. Now, I want to leave you with this. Tom Fitton of Judicial Watch is ready. He has evidence. And if he's not the stealth investigator, he really should be. This is what he tweeted out. Let me suggest that Obama and Clinton need finally to be questioned about their collusion, their shady little dossier, the leaking and the unmasking, targeting at real Donald Trump. Great speech, subjectively speaking, at CPAC last year. Be sure to join us at CPAC next week. Take a listen to what Tom Fitton said of Judicial Watch.
Well, good afternoon, CPAC. Good to be here again. Judicial Watch is your watchdog in Washington. We uncovered the Clinton email and play-to-play scandals and most everything we know. About the Benghazi and IRS corruption scandals. And by the way, the Clinton email scandal isn't over. The Clinton email pay-for-play scandal is an Obama scandal, a State Department scandal, a Justice Department scandal, and an FBI scandal. It's a shady corporation scandal. It's a foreign potentate scandal. Oh, and yes, it's a Russia scandal. Because we know Hillary and Bill took Russia cash and wanted to cover it up. What better way to do that than with a secret email system? Judicial Watch just forced the State Department to admit there was classified information on the laptop of Anthony Weiner, including the identity, yes, Anthony Weiner, including the identity of a CIA operative. You know, I know we talk about special prosecutors, but enough of that. I don't want new prosecutors, I want prosecutions. Stolen and destroyed records, violations of national security laws, you name it, Judicial Watch has compiled more than enough evidence to justify the lawful arrest of Hillary Clinton.
Boom. Listen, everyone. Thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.